Hello there, my name's Hideout and welcome to the Pantheon. It's been a while. I went on holiday, although I don't have a tan. The problems with going bald, you know, you can't really spend much time in the sun, depressingly enough. But I had a great time and I'm back with plenty of commanders like Jared Carthalion. 5 mana, 5 loyalty Jared. +1, create a 3/3 Kavu creature token with trample that's all colours. Ooh. Juicy. Nice bit of protection for our Planeswalker commander. Then -3, choose up to 2 target creatures. For each of them, put a number of 1/1 counts on it equal to the number of colours it is. So really incentivizes us to go multi-coloured. And that's going to be the basis of this deck, you know, making some large multicoloured dudes. Then finally we got -6, return target multicoloured card from your graveyard to your hand. If that card was all colours, draw a card and create 2 treasure tokens. So a nice bit of fixing with the treasures, draws you a card and, you know, rebuys you something that you definitely want. Maybe a Conflux, maybe something else, but really, really cool card. A really cool commander this. I really enjoy it. I'm glad to see Jared coming into his own. You know, he's an interesting guy. And do you know what else is an interesting guy? Muggins over here. And if you enjoy this sort of video, please do subscribe, you know, join the ranks of the Hideawites. That doesn't sound right. But in at number 5, what have we got? Well, we've got Glint Eye Nephilim, and these are creatures that we want to give that buff to make them nice and big. 4 mana for a 2/2, 1 of each colour apart from white, the weakest of all colours. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. So if we're putting 4 1/1 counters in it, suddenly it's a 6/6 every time we deal combat damage with it. By God, we're drawing 6 cards. That's incredible. And you can pay a generic colours and discard a card. Glint Eye Nephilim gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So, you know, if you want to build some kind of 5-colour madness deck, you could go down that route, and it's a really great card to see. Then to go along with it, one of my favourite cards of all time, and, you know, a commander I hold very dear to my heart, it's Chromat. 1 of each colour for a 5/5 legend, and it has 5 abilities. Pay a white and a black to destroy a target creature blocking or blocked by Chromat. Remember, that's before combat damage, so if they block with a Death Toucher, where you just kill it for 2 mana. 2 mana, it gains flying until end of turn, nice bit of evasion. Green and a black regenerate Chromat. Ooh, a nice bit of survival from board wipes. Then a white and a red, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn, so it combines fire breathing with a red, and white, the butt breathing. Delicious. Then we got a green or blue, put it on top of its owner's library. Yeah, something you could do. Potentially, if you're cascading, you could cascade into this, you know, after you put it on top. So, and a character like Yidris Maelstrom Wielder allows you to do that. 4 mana for a 5/4 with trample, so giving in those 4 counters. Oh, juicy. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may cast spells from your hand. When you cast spells from your hand this turn, they gain cascades. You reveal cards to you reveal something that's lower CMC and cast it for free. Pure, unadulterated value. Absolutely lovely. Then Chromantic Car, a wonderful card to put on your Chromat, say. 5 mana, 1 of each for a 4/4 enchantment creature, Manticore. Bestow for 7 mana. So you put it as an aura onto something, then if that creature leaves the battlefield, it comes onto the creature. It comes onto the field as a creature. I love this card. Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. So excellent to get those 5+1/+1 counters. Then it also gives the enchanted creature exactly all of that and +4/+4. It's a wonderful, wonderful card. And the artwork's incredible. Pretty nice in foil. See, with these bestow sort of cards, you know, with a lovely border, they don't look as good in foil as I thought they would do, but, you know, still very pretty. Then we got the Kami War. 6 mana, 1 of each for Saga. Exile target non-land permanents and opponent control, so nice bit of removal. Then chapter 2, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Then each opponent discards card, that's each opponent, and we can rebuy our own cards. Say we want to, I don't know, return an enter the battlefield creature like Venser or something like that back to hand. We could do that, and then everyone's discarding cards. Then 3, exile this saga, then return it to the battlefield, transformed under your control. And when it's transformed, it is Okagachi Made Manifest. A dragon spirit that is all colours. Flank and trample, and when it attacks, defending player chooses a non-land card in your graveyard, return that card to your hand. It gets plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is the mana value of that card. And because we're playing such a massive deck, you know, with all these 5 colour cards and stuff, generally that's going to give it a massive boost. So this could easily be swinging in for lethal. And then to finish off, it's not a multicolour card. However, 7 mana for Plane-Wide Celebration. Hooray! Sorcery, choose 4. You choose the same more than once. Create a 2/2 system creature token that's all colours. Oh, nice. Then return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Then proliferate. Ooh, that's pretty good with Planeswalkers, isn't it? And you gain 4 life. Oh dear. Always a negative in this sort of thing, isn't there? But all of those are really good with what our commander wants to do. Lots of colours, returns things, proliferate. Really, really great cards. So there's a selection of multicoloured cards you might want to put counters on. And that takes me on to number 4. And at number 4, we've got returning, because our commander's ultimate returns cards from the graveyard. So let's play a couple of cards that do similar things. And All Sun's Dawn is probably the best. 5 mana for a sorcery. For each colour, return up to 1 target card of that colour from your graveyard to your hand. Exile All Sun's Dawn. So potentially a 5 mana draw 5. Oh, so much value, and it's just brilliant. And with all of the 5 colour cards that we've got, we're always going to have, you know, like a red card, a blue card, a green card, because they're all of them. So you could choose 5 multicolored cards with this. Then Verdant Eidolon is a slightly different take on this idea. 4 mana for a 2/2 spirit. Pay a green, sacrifice, add 3 mana of any one color. So nice bit of fixing, and ramps you up to some maybe big Planeswalker spells or something like that. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you may return it from your graveyard to your hand. So a nice way of rebuying it, play it again. It's pretty slow, not going to lie to you, but you know, it's generating value, and we're going to have a ton of ramp in this sort of deck because we are 5 colours. Getting those 5 colours is very important, and this adds to that effect. Then we've got Vivid Revival. 5 mana for a sorcery, return up to 3 target multicolored cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile it. I remember doing a draft of this set and I opened 2 of these. By God, the tears couldn't stop flowing. But a cool card nonetheless. And then not getting things from the graveyard, let's get things from the library. Conflux is an 8 mana sorcery, 1 of each and 3. Search your library for a white card, a blue card, a black card, a red card, and a green card. Reveal those cards and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Really sets you up for some explosive turns, allows you to really generate value. I mean, 8 mana is a lot, but as I've just talked about, we should be ramping quite a lot in a deck like this. So there you go. Returning, searching, ramping. Ooh, the trinity of Commander. And that takes me on to number 3. Speaking of trinities, at number 3, we've got Kazmina, Enigma Sage. Enigma. Ooh. 3 mana, although she's got a heron sort of thing over the 1 generic mana, for a 2 loyalty Planeswalker. Each of the Planeswalker control has the loyalty abilities of Kazmina Enigma Sage. So what can she do and what can she allow everyone else to do? +2, scry 1. It is a nice way of getting a lot of loyalty onto a Planeswalker though. +2 is pretty good. Then we've got -X, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X/1/1 counters on it. So that works well with Proliferate. It also works well because it's a green and a blue token. So our commander will put 2 counters on it. There we go. Then finally, the main reason to play, -8. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card that shares a colour with this Planeswalker. Exile that card and then shuffle. You may cast the card without paying its mana cost. So this card can obviously get, you know, blue or green cards. Well, our commander can search up any colour of card, and it allows us to do this. So a really cool card to put into this deck. Allows our Planeswalker commander to do a lot of different things. Then we got Grist the Hunger Tide. 3 mana for a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. +1, creates a 1/1 black and green, a multicolored token, creature token, then mill a card. If an insect card is milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat this process. How many insects are we playing? Well, you know, None. But you could, if you so desired, to make that, 5-colour multicolour insect tribal deck work. But there's other things you can do with Grist. -2, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Nice bit of removal. And then -5 for each opponent. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So a nice way of one-shotting people, and dealing with the graveyard. And also, actually, spoilers, Grist is also a creature in our graveyard. So, if you had a reanimation spell, you could reanimate it. I wonder what card's up next. Well, it's Ashiok. Nightmare Muse. 5 mana for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1 creates a blue and black 2/3. Hey, multicolored. You see the theme. Nightmare creature token with whenever a creature attacks or blocks, each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Then -3, return target non-land opponent to its owner's hand. Then that player exiles a card from their hand. -7, you may cast up to 3 face-up cards your opponents own from exile without paying their mana cost. The ultimate, probably not going to do much, but I really like the fact it makes tokens so it protects our commander and protects itself, and it's a nice bit of removal and sort of hand disruption. Works in a lot of different ways. Then we've got the Garruk Cursed Huntsman. 6 mana, 5 loyalty, Garruk. 0 creates 2/2 black and green wolf creature tokens with, when this creature dies, post a loyalty counter on each Garruk you control. So you could dive heavily into Garruk Tribal with this. -3, destroy target creature, draw a card. Oh my god. That's actually quite good, to be fair. Destroys most commanders and stuff like that. And -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +3/3 and have trample, a constant overrun. So, all our Carvus are now 6/6s. Then you put 5 counters on them. Oh, they're 11/11s. Too much maths. But this is a really cool commander. And not commander. It's a really cool card to have in this deck. And, lots of colour. And when you see them small like this, look at all the text. Just imagine how much text you could read out to your opponents. And that brings me on to number 2. And at number 2, we've got a sideways card. Supply and demand. And this is all about multicolour matters. So supply is a green and a white and X. Put X 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens into play. Sadly not green and white, but a nice way of protecting all of your planeswalkers for that important turn. But demand is where it's at. 3 mana for a sorcery, search your library for a multicoloured card. Reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle your library. 3 mana for a sort of demonic tutor. And this is such a cheap card. Brilliant. Absolutely wonderful. And the foil, very, very pretty. I think it's a bit expensive now, but it's good anyway. Then we've got Tome of the Guildpact. Because we're playing all these multicolored cards, 5 mana, artifact, whenever you cast a multicolored spell, draw a card. And you can tap it to add 1 mana of any colour. So, it even fixes your mana. By Jove, what have we done here? This is really, really cool. It's great in every aspect of this deck. There's so many multicolored cards, it just works perfectly. And because of that, General Ferrus Rokeric? God, that's a hard name to say. 3 mana for a 3/1 human soldier, hexproof from monocolored. And a lot of spot removal is monocolored, so that's a really nice line of text. And whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red and white golem artifact creature token. Come on. Yeah! That's really, really nice. Allows us to dump some counts onto this because our commander, remember, targets 2 different things. So, one of these golems could be the target. Then we've got Hero of Precinct 1. Nice little way of gumming up the board to protect our planeswalkers. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 1/1 human white creature token. Only 1 colour, not great, but it's still really nice to see. Then we got Depopulate, which, while it does destroy our multicolored cards, we get an advantage from it. 4 mana for a sorcerer, each player who controls a multicolored creature draws a card. Hey! Then destroy all creatures. Boo. But it's essential that you have board wipes in your deck because you'll end up needing them. You really, really will. So it's very worth having this card in the deck. Then Widespread Thieving is something that often goes on in my hometown. 3 mana for enchantment with Hideaway 5. So when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards exile one face down, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, we should be doing that a bit, create a treasure token, so a bit of fixing there. Then you may pay white, blue, black, red and green. If you do, you may play the exile card without paying its mana cost. Now, we could get a massive amount of cheaty mana here. We could, cast a 10 drop for 5 mana, and it's just muchos value. And it will stick around because it's an enchantment, and we'll keep getting those treasure tokens. So it's really, really good. Then we this, however, isn't really good, but I thought I'd talk about it anyway. Maze Abomination. The first set I ever played was this. I bought a box, and I've never bought one since. 6 mana for a 4/5 elemental. Death Touch, so that's pretty good for protecting our commander. Multicolored creatures you control have Death Touch. So those Kavus that have Trample, suddenly we put 5 counts on it, and 5 more maybe, 13. Death Touch and Trample work very well, because with Trample and Death Touch you only have to assign 1 lethal damage, all the rest tramples over. Really good. It is 6 mana though, so use with caution. That's what I'll say. There we go, cards that care about multicolored. Really nice to see. And then let's have a look at number 1. And now this actually, shockingly enough, isn't a coloured card. It is Mech Titan Car. 2 mana for a 2/4 artifact vehicle. Crew 2, so you can tap something with 2 power and it can become a 2/4. Hooray! But there's more. Pay 5 and exile it and 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control. Create Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink and haste. That's all colours. Hey! Then when that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards, exile Mech Titan Car, except Mech Titan Car, to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. So this really takes advantage of using a lot of artifact creatures or, vehicles to make one massive multicolored monstrosity. And, what better than scarecrows? Scrap Basket is a 4 mana 3/2 artifact creature, and you can pay 1, it becomes all colours until end of turn. So for just 1 mana we can dump 5 counters onto this thing. What a card. I've never seen this card before, but I think it fits really well, especially with the Mech Titan Core sub-theme. Then we got the Transguild Courier, 4 mana for a Golem, 3/3. It's all colours. Artifact creature. Simple, does the job. I love it. I love it. The artwork's really nice as well. I can imagine that being gorgeous in foil. And then to finish off, we've got Sphinx of the Guild Pact. 7 mana for a Sphinx, 5/5. It is all colours, and it's got flying and hexproof for mono-coloured. So as I mentioned before, a lot of removal, targeted removal, is going to be mono-coloured. So that's a lot more powerful than you might think. And it's an artifact creature. So there you go, a good way of getting the Mech Titan Car online. And thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and found some new cards for you. If you have, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.